Dr. Rebecca Brashears from Ascent Audiology and Hearing is here to debunk some common myths about hearing loss. This is a good topic. I really like this one because we all often hear things and aren't really sure if it's true or not.
Exactly.
So let's start off with a common myth is that you would know if you have a hearing loss. Is that true or false?
So the only time you truly will know that you have a hearing loss is if you wake up with a sudden hearing loss on one side, and that doesn't happen very often. It's usually pretty obvious because you still have the hearing in the other ear. Now, typically with hearing loss, it's gradual, so it takes many years to develop. And what happens is over those years, your brain forgets that you might hear footsteps, or you might hear the leaves rustling, or the birds chirping, the turn signal. And so you don't feel like you have a problem because you don't realize those sounds are missing. But what ends up happening is over time you start to turn things up a little bit, you know, like the television or the radio. And then if family members start to point it out too, then you probably need to get tested just to be safe, to, you know, see if anything's going on.
So that's a good one. Another one is that hearing loss, it doesn't affect the rest of your health, does it?
So that's when people don't realize how connected it is with your entire body. So one thing I always point out is your cognitive health. And we've talked about it before, that with hearing loss, if it's untreated, if you're prone to dementia, Alzheimer's, then there's a good chance you're going to develop those symptoms sooner than you naturally would because you start to withdraw when you have a hearing loss. Your brain's not as active. You know, depression can be one that comes along with hearing loss because, again, you're not as active in those family conversations. Safety and balance. Say there's you're driving, it's really important in the car to be able to hear, you know, if a car is coming or an ambulance. If you don't hear it till they're right up on you, it can definitely be dangerous. So really with hearing loss, people don't think that, oh, I don't need to get it checked annually, but you go for your vision, dental, you know, every year. Well, hearing should be one of them too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just as important.
Well, what about people who think that hearing aids are just like getting used to eyeglasses?
Yes, it's definitely completely different. So with eyeglasses, you can put them on and get maybe back to 20/20 vision. Hearing aids, when we put them on, yes, they're programmed specifically to your hearing loss, but we can't bring back that natural hearing you had maybe years ago. And so it's never going to be exactly the same. And with glasses too, you put them on and you don't have to do a lot of training, right? Hearing aids, you have to teach yourself how to put them in, care for them. You have to teach your, or basically get your brain to relearn those sounds over the years that you've missed. And so it's a process with hearing aids versus glasses. It's just a little bit easier.
Exactly. Okay, here's one I know I'm guilty of. I'm sorry to family. Will talking louder help the person with a hearing loss understand you?
So the answer to that is no. A lot of people think that it helps, but hearing is so complex. So, you know, depending on the hearing loss, what frequencies are affected, you know, some people might have more trouble in the high frequencies, which they'll struggle with women's voices more, or people might have trouble across the board. So when you're talking to a patient with a hearing loss, I make sure that I'm not speaking louder than I naturally would. I'm face to face, because what happens is that sound becomes distorted. So if you're yelling at that person with the hearing loss, it's not helping. It's going to make it worse for them, and it all goes back to, you know, the degree of hearing loss too, how bad it is already to begin with. It makes it hard for then the family members to communicate and for that person with the hearing loss. So yeah, don't yell.
No yelling. That's good. Another quick one here is that purchasing hearing aids online or through the mail can save you money and work just as well.
So when you purchase something online, you're not going to have an audiologist there to help you look at what you need. You're not going to have that diagnostic hearing evaluation, which tells us exactly where your hearing is across all the different frequencies. You're not going to have anybody help you pick them out or even program them. You have to program them yourself. So when you see an audiologist, obviously you kind of get the whole package where we're going to be with you from the beginning. We're going to help you choose. We're going to train you how to use them. We're going to make sure that if you have any follow-up care, repairs, we're going to do it all. So it's a big relationship that you and your audiologist are developing.
Yeah,
and online, you can't do that. So,
yeah, and you could cause more damage in the long run.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, there's your information right now in case anybody watching right now thinks, well, okay, maybe I do need to come in for a hearing check.
Yes, yes. Just give me a call at 304-948-5565. I'm here on the corner of 6th Avenue and 9th Street in Huntington.
Great. Well, Dr. Brashears, I think we debunked a lot of myths today.
Yes.